Another vision. The Force is guiding us, helping us retrace the steps of Malak and his old master, leading us ever closer to the Star Forge. Tatooine is known for little but blowing sand. I find it surprising that there would be a star map somewhere in its desolate wastes. Perhaps, though that would have been tens of thousands of years in the past. Now there's nothing but the howling emptiness of the Dune Sea. The star map would likely have to be within some kind of shelter to protect it against dust and sandstorms. I suspect there are many such caves and caverns hidden in the sands of the Dune Sea. The creatures of this world probably use them as their lairs. No doubt things will become more clear once we discover the star map's location.
Yes, what's on your mind? I already told you, he betrayed us all. Well, there is more to it. I'm sure you don't want to hear about it. It's just that I don't talk about it very much, okay? I told you about my homeworld, Telos. 4 years ago, Saul led the Sith fleet there and demanded its surrender. The planet refused, and Saul proceeded to devastate its entire surface. Millions died. I had a wife and a son on Telos. I thought they would be safe there, but my task force arrived too late to be of much help. We didn't have enough medical supplies. The colony was burning and the dying were everywhere. I remember holding my wife and screaming for the medics, but they didn't come in time. Of course not, how could you? I had nothing left after that, really. I devoted myself to the fleet. Hunting Saul was my only purpose. I miss them, and I know killing Saul won't bring them back. And it won't make me happy again, but I have to do it. I don't expect you to understand, but I have to pay him back for what he's done. I have to. It's all I have left. She had courage, and she was stubborn. Could never talk her out of anything once she put her mind to it. And she hated it when I signed back onto the fleet at the start of the war. I had planned on leaving soon to join her. His name was Dustil, and I don't know what happened to him. The colony was a complete ruin, and we never found any trace of him. I made inquiries and followed the reports from Telos for years, but I stopped. Anyway, I hope that answers your questions. Let's continue with what we were doing.
How can I help? Am I so transparent? I suppose I shouldn't be surprised, considering our bond. Yes, there is something I would like to ask, if you'll permit it. Don't even start with that. You're the one who asked. I wasn't even going to say anything. But now that you've brought it up, I see I shouldn't have waited as long as I have. In our time together, I've been watching you. You are a true servant of the light. You follow the tenets of the Jedi Order despite the lure of the dark side. And with so little training, for me it has always been a constant battle. Don't you find it difficult at all? You make it seem so easy. Or is that only an illusion? And that's enough for you. If only it were as easy for me. If only the right path was always clear. I've always struggled for control over my passions. I've always been too quick to anger, too quick to get involved. My instructors constantly berated me for it. I've often dreamed that I might be able to confront Darth Malak myself. I dream I can use all this power I have to kill him and stop all the death and destruction. I just think about all the evil that the Sith have caused and I get so furious. Yet we are told that these feelings are the path to the dark side. I don't know. Would the power I use to kill Darth Malak be too tempting to keep using? Would I become the kind of evil I want to destroy? The very thought that I could become as evil as Malak, I just can't fathom it. It just doesn't seem possible. I mean, how could I... No. Wait, I'm sorry. I shouldn't even be asking you this. The Jedi teachings are clear. Who am I to question them? And even worse, who am I to try and make you question them? These are dangerous thoughts. The indulgence of a vain mind. Please, forget I ever mentioned this. Let's just return to our mission.
Got something on your mind, do you? You got yourself a fast little ship? I'd forgotten what engine sounded like. The closest thing to that on Kashyyyk is an Uller in mating season. Ugh, frightful. Or it could be for the free food. What's the gunk that comes out of the synthesizer on this bucket anyway? Do you never clean the darn thing? I'm old, damn it. I'm allowed to be enigmatic when I want to be. And don't you go telling me otherwise. You know, you remind me of someone else I knew ages ago. Pleasant enough fellow, great destiny, all of that. Breath like a bantha. Oh, very funny. Is it my fault that some people are so easily annoyed? Like impatient little children. With blasters. Anyway, where was I? Oh yes, Andor Vex was his name. The Force swirled around him like a hurricane. That's how great his destiny was. No, you wouldn't have. Sometimes swirling force is just swirling force. It gets us old Jedis excited at our age, so we go, ooh, destiny. Well, it turned out that poor Andor believed a wee bit too much in the infallibility of that destiny. That overconfidence turned out to be his downfall. I am not. I've no need to make things up. With my poor memory and all. You just sit still and let me finish, damn it. Let's see. Oh yes, Andor's downfall. I was pretty young myself when it happened. At the time, I thought that Andor's destiny couldn't be more boring. You know, if you keep interrupting, it will take even longer. Have you no patience at all? How did you get as old as you are, anyway? I was just about to abandon Andor to whatever the Force intended for him when his ship was overtaken by a Dimian warship. Now, you've probably never heard of the Dimians, but at the time, they were a nasty lot led by a nastier overlord named Krat. Tall fellow, big teeth. Krat has us hauled onto the bridge of his ship for questioning, and that's when I knew that Andor's destiny was at hand. Of course he did. Haven't you been listening? It was not in the way you'd probably expect, though. Well, Andor decides that his destiny makes him invulnerable and starts making all sorts of demands. Free me now. I'm not answering questions. Blah, blah, blah. Don't you know who I am? Yeah. Krat decides he's had enough and begins crushing Andor's neck. I told the boy he should have kept his mouth shut. I think he agreed too, or those could have just been gurgling noises. Oh, well, anyway. Finally, Krat has enough of Andor and tosses him aside into this giant energy intake shaft. Andor gets sucked in and starts bouncing around, screaming. Maybe Andor hit something sensitive on the way down, or just didn't agree with the reactor core. Next thing I know, all the ship's alarms are ringing. Everyone panics, and I run, barely making it to the ship in time before the explosion. Krat dies horribly, and the Dimians never quite recovered. Changed the political course of the entire sector for centuries to come. I'd call that quite a destiny, wouldn't you? What, are you kidding? What are the odds of that happening anyway? 1 billion to 1? You should do so well as to be sucked into the engine of some evil Sith Lord, you know. Andor was a hero. Sort of. Anyway, go on. My throat is dry and you're making me cranky. Shoo! Got something on you. Oh.
Welcome to Anchorhead, potential customer. Zerka Corporation stands ready to serve, after some formalities, of course. First, your ship is not on our list of planned arrivals for today. There is a docking fee of 100 credits because of this. That would be unfortunate. Zerka Corporation can't afford to extend credit. Everyone pays. That's the rule. I assure you that the fee is non-negotiable. We have a very thin margin of profit on this world. You know, I don't think you need to pay the fee. We'll let it go this time.
Well, that was easy. I sure wish I had special mind-affecting force powers.
This will cover any future landings as well. It's like a registration, so we can serve you better when you return. Now, as a customs officer, I can provide information on services. Is this visit business or pleasure? There isn't much to tell. It's a very old planet, well past its prime. Zerka Corporation is the only company with any interest in it. It's not a very pretty world, but there is opportunity here if you know where to look. I can't really get into that. It hasn't been a very smooth operation. I shouldn't get into it. I can tell you more, I guess. It's not a big secret or anything. Just not good for business. You see, Zerka Corporation staked their claim to this planet based on some very promising geological surveys. Unfortunately, that information was incorrect, and possibly even an attempt at sabotage by a rival company. Not totally barren. There were a few good years of mining, and limited operations are still in place. But the ore is flawed. It has peculiar properties. They've had to look at other forms of business. Pursuits that appeal to the casual traveler. There are some fearsome native species that provide exciting hunting. There are also lengthy, barren wastes that serve as fine swoop tracks. Attracting business has been slow, however. Zerka Corporation has really tried to hide this, but it just seems that Tatooine metal is unfit for effective manufacturing. I would imagine that this outpost will eventually be abandoned. Nobody is making any money here. Of course, this rock may have been settled a few times, so look for some other company to get stuck with it. Very little. There are hints that it might once have been a lush world, but I can't picture it as anything but a desert. Native sentient species have no records going back that far. That was hundreds of years ago, maybe thousands. Of course, the native species are not very willing to tell anyone anything. They're barely more than animals. The Sand People. They're vicious and attack outsiders on sight. or animal than anything, really. Maybe they know the history of Tatooine. Maybe they don't. Impossible to tell. They won't cooperate. Not personally, but they've given Zerka Corporation a rough time. It's hard enough mining this rock without suffering random attacks. I think the company has even put a bounty on them, but I'm sure not going to try for it. It depends on what level of risk you want to take. You could ask at the Zerka office if any bounties need collecting. That's in Central Anchorhead. While you're at the office, ask for a hunting license so you can sell trophies to Faza in his lodge, just north of them. I suppose you could also take up swoop racing. Talk to the hut at the registration office by the track. That's in West Anchorhead. I can't say I know which of these jobs is the most dangerous. I stay away from all of them. That's not much information. Could you tell me more? A star map? That's old holotech, isn't it? Not much reason to outfit this dry rock with tech like that. You could ask around, but for something like that, you'll probably have to go digging. I wouldn't know where to begin. You could always ask a Jawa. It's hard to tell what they know. As you wish. If you need anything else, I'll be here.
Yeah?
Genchopa chawi tikchok twiz yun kun. Watuyama kama wona henak nek. Bugra shak kunti chiwa
I'm Bastila, yes. I take it that you know my mother?
bona na kachu. Kicha badwang. Wanga kumkiba bu mulerag. Kakin chak nawagawa bakon. Donk ki.
Is there something I can do for you, miss? As you can see, we're in quite a hurry.
Kakin cha na kwat na bon kon. Wana kumbes. Chi pala mulek. Donk.
My mother's condition?
Tin umpa do punta krita. Akti kondo ona chaba chisa wanki.
I've not seen my mother since I joined the Order. Do you know what's happened? Did she say anything about my father?
Genchopa chawi tikchok twiz yun kun. Watuyama kama wona henak nek. Bugra shak kunti chiwa chawa. Dong abuk.
I see. Where did you meet her? Do you remember?
Chachika don mulaka. Watayuma ka wamahona nek. Ashanti dun unumani.
Part of me would rather not see her at all. But if she is really sick, well, we shall see. How can I help? Sorry. I'm just thinking about my mother. It's strange to hear news after all this time. It's quite distracting. It's not that I look forward to seeing her. I just can't help but wonder what she wants. But perhaps we have better things to do.
Uchua Penki, Tangi Twamaji, Human Act Baba Hassan Shan. No Bamuli Raji Laiku. Ki Mu Achua Penki, Yun Pati Baba Hassan Shan. No Bamuli Raji like Chiwi Aita Ka Chong Chicha. Agi Inko Tune Chiwa Aita Kang Kicha na Chupornibo. Kun muli ras limo poiwanga. Chiwi aita ka chong chicha. Agi inko tune chuna muli ra. Chiwa aita kang kicha na chupornibo. Kun muli ras limo chiwi aita ka chong chicha. Baba Hassan Shan. Smilia! Ding.
Wabuelta, Colo Luz Niva. Puntas da Shelfa, Ufta del Cliff. Wabuelta, Colo Luz Niva Nebut, Nikel Dufta dan Gelfa. Hoisi dan Gelfa. Duden Tufla, Wabuelta, Colo Luz Niva.
Some ships I fix, some I scrap. Depends if the owner disappears in the dunes.
You never know what the Sith will do. Look at Terrace. Was there any reason for what happened there?
Her mother was supposed to be here somewhere. Ask if they've seen her. We should try to find her. I doubt she wants to be kept waiting.
Lord Malak was most displeased when he learned you had escaped Terrace alive. He has promised a great reward to whoever destroys you.
Tuftedan kelva, Norisidan kelva, Vapuilta, Kolo.
Go on, leave me alone. I've got stuff to worry about. Racer stuff. Nothing you'd understand. Don't mean to be rude, but it's kind of secret. Ha! Sure. Race your bike out of that explosion? Everyone knows that the whole planet is gone. Nobody got out. I'm not in the mood for jokes, thanks. I've got things to think about. You wouldn't know anything about it. Deal with that Hut Mata and you will understand. Until then, I just don't want to talk about it.
Kakincha nawabakaon. Kakincha nawabak. Baba Hassan Shan. Smilia! Tingkuin ko ka. Nikawa dubaka. Patisa. Kung mutong hitwama ak iinko tune. Potong hitwama jit ak iinko. Chachiska. Topa na otoboka. Jiska dosoki. Kopa bono nakachu. Labora na winki smaktoma. Kakincha nawabakaon. Pag Kimba no konikdor kava yun patisa. Uchua penki tong itwamaji human act kakincha nawabakaon. Pag Ciao baso. Chiwi aita ka chongchi baba Hassan.
I love watching the races. Nothing much else to do.
The track here isn't the greatest, but we have to practice someplace.
Tangabun shan omnong. China pala mula. Mucho shakapaka. Yiki kakin cha na kwat na bon kon. Wana Tonga bok sha nak nong. Kin kun shi kakin cha na kwat na bon kon. Wana kumbes. Mucho shakapaka. Yiki kun no ba mula. Tonga bok sha nak nong. Kin kun shin kin. Ni china pala mula. Tong ki ba non tontek. Dun Tonga bok sha nak nong. Kakin cha na kwat na bon kon. Mucho shakapaka. Yiki kun no ba. Tonga bok sha nak nong. Kakin cha na Mucho shakapaka. Yiki kun China pala mula. Tong ki ba. Mucho shak. China pala.
Ako chikopa. Chino mula. Rundi hautonga tonga buksha unenong. Lagoda na rinkis makona.
My friend tells the truth. I am a Jedi. Are you going to imply that I am lying as well?
Nobody here can compare with the racers you rode against on Terrace. You'll wipe every record from the books this backwater track.
Rundi hautonga tongkimba nangko. Lagoda na rinkis makona. Rundi hautonga tong. Chibedwa nani bobo. Lagoda na rinkis makona. In rundi hautong. Lagoda na rinkis kipechao na kinikos.
And? Sounds like you have something special. What do you want help with?
Lagoda na rinkis makona. Rundi hautonga tongkimba nangkong.
That isn't fair! On Terrace you had to give a cut to the Swoop gang sponsoring you, but at least the rider got the higher share of the winnings.
Lagoda na rinkis makona. Rundi hautonga. Lagoda na rinkis. Rundi hautonga. Lagoda na rinkis makona. Rundi hautonga tongkimba nangkong. Rundi hautonga tongkimba nangkong ke. Lagoda na rinkis mak. Lagoda na rinkis makona. hautongatong kimbat laboda na rinkis maktoma. Rundi hautongatong kimbat ng kongkek. Wak laboda na rinkis mak. Rundi hautongat laboda na rinkis. Rundi hautongatong kim. Jip. Laboda na rinkis. Laboda. Ino. Rundi hautongatong kimbat ng kongkek. Laboda na rinkis maktom. Chupakachonagan totril. Laboda na rinkis. Laboda na rinkis. Rundi hautongatong. Rundi hautongatong kimbanang. Kajuvayo kulawis. Tuchong watakut. Laboda na rinkis maktoma. Hautongatong kimbanang kongke. Hiokoya wish humani bajo ni bes. Un Latin. Laboda na rinkis ma. Rundi hautongatong kimbanang kongke. Laboda na rinkis maktoma. Rundi hautongatong kimbanang kongke. Laboda na rinkis maktoma. Yinkin slimop mutadahat. Rundi ikchawat. Hautongatong kimbanang kongkek. Sibedwana ni Bobo. Tong. Laboda na rinkis maktoma. Sibed. Laboda na rinkis maktoma. Rundi hautongatong kimbanang kongkek. Rundi hautongatong kimbanang.
Chinapala mula, tongki ba non tontek. Tu Kakin cha na kwat na bon kon. Wana kumbes. Chi tonga bok sha nak non. Chinapala.
Oh, hi. You another racer then? I heard someone new was talking to Mata. Always room for more, I guess. Nice job beating my times, too. I guess my heart isn't in the racing. Contracts are distracting stuff. I suppose you've got a right to know track business, but with the times you've been posting... You did? I don't believe it. I mean, I do, but I sure wasn't expecting it. I appreciate it, I really do. Now I can take my bike to the big races. There's not much of a circuit right now, but I'll be ready when it recovers. Hard to tell. I'll get some more runs here first. I need the practice. I have to top your time. Thanks again. I meant it.
Chiwi aita ka chong chicha. Agi inko tune. Chiwa aita kang kicha na chupornibo. Chiwi aita ka chong chicha. Agi inko tune chuna. Baba has. Ichuta. Ciao.
Mucho shakpakat. Kieno no namapaoler. Ronda di hotonga kun hongabi. Wana kun be ka chi kun ida hodonga. Iki tolpa da pongwale ganduna gugun chuchut. Takom jus dach miki grabal mogo. Kachi.
What can I do?
What?